This guy claims this guy claims he made 100K in just 4 steps. Now, what we're going to do in this video is review his strategy, break it down step by step, and then test it out in the live market. And I'm not here to hate on him or hype him up. We're just going to test it and break it down. We're just going to break it down. We're just going to break it down simply so even a beginner can. We're going to break it down so simply that even a beginner can understand, and then test it out in the live market and see what happens. Let's go.
Now, the trading formula is E.L.E.E. E-L-E-E. Now, the E stands for environment and the L stands for levels. The E stands for entries and the E stands for exits. So first thing is the environment, guys. Now,
I got the whole strategy mapped out here, okay? So the key components we're getting started with right now, and you got it.
environment is market structure, right?
Market
the context
structure
of the market, because man, this is something that really hurt my trading in the past because I didn't understand the market structure. I didn't understand the environment. I always heard that the trend was your friend. And honestly, that's what I was focused on, the trend, right? But I realized there's more to this. So for the most part, most people, when they talk about the market, they say it goes up, down, and sideways, right? Nothing wrong with that. You know, I believe that is sort of true, but it's not the real truth, okay? I had to dig deep. I realized the market is in these 4 different states. We have the trending state, we have the ranging state, we have the breakout state, and we have the reversal state. Those are the main states that the market is always changing, okay? So the reason why I'm not saying that the market doesn't go up, down, and sideways, but if you just only look at the market that way, it will, in my opinion, affect the way you trade, because if you look at the market in a deep way, you will realize it's doing these 4 states every single day, and it's constantly changing different states. It's almost like a human being, right? One minute, a human being might be happy. The next minute, you might be sad. Next minute, you might be excited. So like a human being changing states, the market also is changing states. And how I really got really into this is when one day I decided to take a screenshot of the whole day. So my day usually starts at 9:30, right? So 9:30 all the way to like 4 o'clock, right? I took screenshots. I mean, I went back for months, years, whole bunch of screenshots. I'm talking about well over 100 different screenshots, and we talking about different market conditions. So when I take these screenshots, right, I'm putting these screenshots in different folders. So we have a trending folder, we have a breakout folder, we have a ranging folder, we have a reversal folder, and believe it or not, right, every trend is not created equal, right? We have some trends that are very strong, right? Hardly any deep pullbacks. And then we have trends that are, have these deep pullbacks and they're not really that strong. So knowing this, it's going to help you when you are trading the market, okay? Knowing that the market is always changing different states and recognizing these different states in real time is really going to help your trading.
Now, what we're talking about here is a cycle, right? Yes, the market goes up, down, and sideways. True, right? But what he's getting at is there's a cycle and the different phases are related, okay? An easier way to think about this is this emotional cycle of investing or trading, okay? Now, notice we go through this emotional roller coaster, starting with optimism, all the way up to euphoria, getting more intense, peak euphoria, then soon turns into anxiety, and then we start the drop all the way down to desperation, capitulation or giving up, panic, despondency, right? You ever felt like that trading? And then depression. And notice after depression comes hope, relief, optimism, and the cycle starts over. So yes, there is a cycle to the market, but what we want to start to think about is how to take this and translate that into this. So let's talk about that.
If I told you tomorrow is guaranteed that we are going to have a trending day, right? Let's say I said, it's 100% guaranteed we're going to have a trending day. I don't know that, but I'm just saying, let's say it was a guarantee, right? We're going to have a trending day. Do you think you could make money? Of course, right? Maybe plot a trend line, maybe plot a 50 moving average, whatever the case is, I'm quite sure you could probably make money if you knew for a fact it was going to be a trending day. Now, if you knew for a fact tomorrow is going to be a ranging day, do you think you can make money? Well, I'm quite sure, right? Sell at the top, buy at the bottom. So that is pretty much the whole idea of understanding different states, because that's what you want to do as a trader. Of course, we are not going to be right 100% of the time, but that's our job. We have to know in real time, what is the market doing? So let me show you guys some examples so this can actually make sense to you guys. So right here, guys, right here. So we have the market trending, right, to the upside.
Now let's just break that down and make it more simple. All we're saying here, right, is that the market has different modes, right? Market has different modes, different ways of behaving. Think of them like modes. And what we want to start to do is to be able to look at a chart and say, okay, what is this characteristic of? That's what we mean by market structure. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So let's look at his examples and see if we can break those down.
Upside. And notice how we have this pullback right here, right? And then the market went up, gave you another pullback down here, right? So we have these deep pullbacks. So let's say I'm looking at the market, right here, and I'm looking to basically take either a long or a short or whatever the case is. I'm looking at this market. Automatically, what I'm seeing is the market is not really strong. It's not a strong trend because we having these deep pullbacks. It's going up, another deep pullback. So what I'm looking to see is how it's going to react at these certain levels. Okay, so right here, notice how we have this resistance right here, and it broke that resistance. But if you notice, it barely broke that resistance. It came back down, right? So now this resistance is actually holding. So,
but how can we tell that, right? So let's go back just a second and talk about how. How do you know that this is failing above resistance, which is what he's saying? The tails. The answer is the tails. You look at the wicks or the tails on the tops of the candles. That shows that the price went into this area and rejected, found buyers, right? These tails show buying at the top here above resistance. And if this resistance is going to prevent the buyers from succeeding and getting further and possibly lead to a reversal, which is what happened here, then it's going to start with showing tails like this. Notice it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We got little tails above that resistance line, which is this prior high. And then the bears got to move down, right? 1, 2 here. Then the bulls tried again. They got a retest of that high. And then we formed what? A double top here and here. And then as soon as that double top formed after this bear bar, then the bear breakout happened and we got that move down, okay? So what you want to do is you want to look at these areas of support and resistance, which is just saying prior highs and lows, and see what happens there. Do we get tails or wicks, or do we get strong candles that are closing on their highs, which would be the opposite of this?
So now this resistance is actually holding. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, the market looks weak. We're not really in a strong trend. We're having these deep pullbacks. We are having trouble at resistance. Maybe today is going to be a reversal day. Okay, so that's my mindset, right? I'm not going in here saying, oh, the trend is my friend, let me buy because I see a trend. No, I'm looking at the state right now. It's looking like a reversal state. So right here, the market shot down. It came back to that resistance right here, and notice that we have a nice bearish bar. So I'm looking at this. If I was in this market right here, I'll probably see, okay, we have a nice trend line break. Let me go short. Let me put my stop loss above the high, okay, and let me look for profits when it hits the low. Okay, so that is my thought process every single day when I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at the state of the market. I'm not just saying, oh, the trend is my friend, let me buy because it's up. No, because if the market looks weak, if it looks like it's going to reverse, I need to know that as a trader. That is your job. Your job as a trader is to know what the market is doing right now in real time. So let's go to another example.
Now, let's go back really quick, because what he didn't point out was the double top, right? So yes, the market is maybe reversing here, but what you want to start to be able to identify in real time is something like this, a double top. Now, this is a lower high double top because this top is slightly lower than this top, right? But what you'd want to do is start to draw those when you see them so you can train your eyes to be able to see them better and better, okay? So what I would do if I was a beginner is I would draw these on the chart. I would draw those double tops, right? So start by drawing the double tops when you see them. First, you got to train your eyes to see them. And the more that you see them, the more you can draw them and the more you will notice.
Looking at the market. I'm looking at the state of the market. I'm not just saying, oh, the trend is my friend, let me buy because it's up. No, because if the market looks weak, if it looks like it's going to reverse, I need to know that as a trader. That is your job. Your job as a trader is to know what the market is doing right now in real time. So let's go to another example. All right, so here's another example, right? So let's say I'm right here, okay? The market is about to open. My session is about to open right here. What do we...
Okay, so let's actually try that out, right? So what we want to do is see if we can find a double top. Now, let's look at the market right now during this moment, okay? And notice we have something kind of similar to what we saw there, right? We have a possible double top here. So if we go back to his example, well, let's look at that example and say, okay, notice double top was right here. Okay. So we've got a possible double top right here as well, right? So that's a possible double top. However, there's more to it than that. Okay. I want to give you one piece to add to this, which he completely left out. Now, if you go to his example, there's no indicators on this chart. And I'm not a big fan of indicators except for one, and that is the average price, because the average price is something that affects the price on every chart in every time frame. And what you can notice with this chart is it has this moving average, which is the blue line. This is the 20 period moving average. And what I can see is that the bulls got consecutive closes above that blue line. Now, let's point something out. Notice on my chart that all of these candles have been below the moving average. That's a lot of candles, okay? In fact, we can even count them from here to here. That was 15 bars, okay? So 15 bars below the moving average. And then what happened? We started to get closes above the moving average. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 closes. And that means that the bulls are starting to get some momentum. Here's another thing that we can notice. We are getting higher lows. So let's actually draw a line and mark those higher lows. Now, if we're getting higher lows and we're starting to get closes above the moving average and you see a double top, caution, proceed with caution, because what could happen is the bulls could actually continue this trend upward. Now, if you notice, we have now not just the lows getting higher because the low is here, then it was here, right? So the lows are getting higher, right? But we also have the highs getting higher, okay? So because if we draw a channel line, we can see that, oh, actually, the high was here, then the high was here. So now we're starting to see this bull channel, right? And that's actually a trend. However, there's been so much selling to the left that the likelihood of the bears continuing this trend down is higher because they've been controlling the price so well all day, okay? So that's what we want to start to do, is we want to start to notice these features on the chart and then pause and then know when it's a good trade to take and when it's not a good trade to take. The example he gave shows that you're at the very top of the chart above all of the prior highs. Notice on this chart, we're not above all the prior highs. If we were early in the morning and we were up here, there's your double top, right? And notice we got this big move down. That's a 26-point move down, decent move down, right? So that's an indicator that the price is continuing down. But at this point, I wouldn't expect this trend to go much further down because it already went down pretty far, okay? So what I would do instead is I would draw a line here at the prior low, and I would wait for the price to get here. And then I would assess, I'd reassess and say, okay, maybe the price, now that it broke this trend line, is going to come back down here and then actually reverse up. So let's wait and watch and see what happens, and then we'll make a decision.
So right here we have what? The environment. You know that is ranging, okay? Now the next thing is L, right? L stands for levels. So what is the level right here? Level is support, okay? So we know we have support right here, okay?
So he said this is ranging. Why? Because we're just going up and down, right? We went down, then we went up, and then we went down, then we went up and down and up and down. So this is ranging behavior. All right. Then he's going to mark his levels, which are the support and resistance levels. And what are those? At prior highs and prior lows.
Now, the next thing is entries. How do we want to get in? Okay. So we see a nice rejection. So that could be one of your entries. Rejection bar or a nice strong bullish bar, right? If the market is going up, vice versa. If the market is going down, nice bearish bar, or nice rejection, bearish bar, or maybe a double top or double bottom. So right here, we have a nice rejection bar right at the support level. Okay. Now we want to get in. Okay. So let's get in. So I'm gonna get in as soon as the market goes above that bar and put my stop loss below the setup bar. You can put your stop loss whatever you want. I'm just giving you what I do most of the time. So right here, now, since we have the environment,
It's a decent rule, right? If you enter on a reversal bar, you put your stop loss below that reversal bar, right? So if we entered on the double bottom here, right? Or we entered on this double bottom here because there was the bottom here, then we came right back down there, made a double bottom here. If we entered here, we could put our stop loss below here. And notice if you did that, your stop loss would have held. So putting your stop loss below the entry candle is a good rule of thumb. Most traders do stuff like that.
environment, E, we have the level, L, we have E, entry. Now we have to go to the last one, which is E, exit, right? So where do we want to exit? Well, we can exit anywhere where it makes sense. So right here, the first place it makes sense is right here, right? But it might not go all the way up there. So let's go to another one right here. We have this little swing high right here. So we can say, all right, our first exit was right here. Or we can say, I like this supply level right here. So anywhere at the supply level, I might get out. Notice how he reacted when it hit that supply level. So we can actually get out when, you know, hit that supply level or above that swing high or the ultimate high at the end. And this is what I'm doing every single day. I am looking at the market in real time, trying to figure out what state the market is in, because I don't want to be that trader that thinks that the trend is always your friend. It is not, because every single day it's not going to be trending. So let's go to another example. All right, so here's a
Now, I want to offer you something that he didn't mention, which is that what you can expect and how often. All right. The trend is your friend if the market is trending, but if the market's not trending, then obviously it doesn't apply. But we know based on data that 8 out of 10 times the market's going to be ranging, not trending. Okay. So again, we're waiting for the price to come back down to this level, and then we're going to evaluate and consider getting long if it shows that there's some buying down here. Notice there was buying down here 1, 2, 3 times. Okay. And then we got this move up. So what I'm waiting for, since this was a break of the trend line, right? This trend line got broken here. I'm waiting for a move down and then a retest of the bottom, right? So we just got that there, which means that we have another possible double top, okay? However, there's 3 minutes left on the candle. We can see that here, right? Notice right here, that shows that there's 3 minutes left. So we're going to be patient and we're going to wait to see what happens, right? What we want to see is this. Hopefully the candle closes bullish, because if the candle closes bullish, then we have our double top, which is what we want. So I'm going to be very patient and wait over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes for this to count down. But I'll put my candle here. I'll put my long tool here. Notice it's a long tool because the green is at the top and the red is at the bottom. And we will look at the average candle size, which is 3.6. And we'll make sure that we are using something above the average candle size, right? So that would look something like this. Okay, now again, we're going to be patient and wait. But what we can see here is that instead of the market trending, right? Now, notice he started this video by saying the trend is not always your friend. The trend is your friend if the market's trending. When it's not trending, definitely do something different, right? Okay, good. So what we can see here is the market's not trending anymore. The market's actually ranging. And how can I tell? Because there's buyers and sellers participating. If you see consecutive bull bars, 1, 2, 3, here, consecutive bull bars here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And you see consecutive bear bars, 1, 2, 3. Now we're in a trading range. So this is what we're looking at on the chart, is a perfect example of the two different market behaviors. You have trending behavior here, right? Because look, there's only one bull bar and the rest are bear bars. That's a strong move down. Now here, the trend is your friend, right? And let's make that red because it's a bear trend going down. But then as soon as we got this bounce, boom, bounced up, then all of this is the opposite. So that's a trend. This is a range. All right. And we're going to mark this yellow because it is neutral, right? There's buyers and sellers both participating. Now, what we're continuing to see is that the buyers are continuing to hold this price level above this bear candle, and It looks like it's doing what we want. We've got 50 seconds left on the candle. So let's just get this ready. And again, we'll be very disciplined and very patient, and we will only execute this trade if this candle continues to stay bullish. Okay, so we got 30 seconds left. Again, all we're doing is saying, if the market is ranging, we're going to look for a double bottom. That's what we did here, or a double top. The double top was here, but I did not enter on that double top. Why? Because we were late in the trend. Now, another thing he didn't mention, okay, 10 seconds left on this candle. We're going to buy. All right. We're going to buy. We'll put our limit order here. And we'll see if we get executed. All right. So that is the trade, and that is executing a double top. And you might be wondering, well, is that the trade that I should execute? Should I just look for double tops? Maybe. What matters is more so that you're consistent. That's what matters more than anything else.
Here's another example, right? So overall, we're looking for what? Because the market is going straight down. So you would say that this is what? A trending market, right? So we got that environment out the way, okay? It's a trending market. Now, what level do we want? Well, right here, first, I see a nice supply level right here. So we can wait for the market to come that supply level, okay? Now, when we are trading the market, that's all we're doing at first, right? We're looking at the environment and we're looking at our levels. Now, we're waiting for that reaction. Notice how it blew right past that supply level. So it's telling me that most likely this can be a reversal, right? So I'm looking at this. Number one, okay, we have, the market is breaking this trend line, right? And also it's finding support at this level right here, which this is a inverse head and shoulders, all right? Another reversal pattern, right? So I'm looking at this as a potential reversal, okay? So the way I'm looking at this is I'm not really too sure yet. So let me give it, some more time to develop. So honestly, me personally, I probably wouldn't take this long right here. I'll probably wait for it to go up even more, okay? So notice how it came back, it broke this high, it pulled back. Now, right? Now, guys, now this is telling me that we are not in a downtrend anymore. We are reversing. Remember, I told you guys before, the market is always changing different states. So now we are not trending anymore. We are reversing. Now I need to look for long. So now we know the environment is reversing. Now we look for a level. So I'm looking for this level right here, right? And then we're looking to get in. We have a nice bullish bar right here. And then we're looking for our exit. So our exit would probably be the high right here, right? So get in and I'll look for that high right here. Okay, and this is what I'm doing every single day. Now, not every single day is going to be a winning day, but this is what I'm doing because I need to train my brain every single day what the market is doing in real time, because most traders, believe it or not, don't know what the market is doing in real time, or their reaction time is too late. So they realize, oh man, yeah, I see what's going on, but it's too late. You got chopped up, or you got trapped. All right, so let's go to another example. All right, so this example right here, guys, guess what? The market was trending up, but right here, we started to reverse. So this is around the time I'm trading. I'm trading around 9 o'clock, 9:30, right? So I'm looking at this bull move, but at the same time, right, we broke this key support. So the time I'm trading is around here, right? I'm seeing this. Now, is this a bull trend or is this a reversal? In my head, I'm still thinking this is a reversal. Yes, it could still be a bull trend, but right now, they are breaking key levels. And to me, if they're breaking key levels with a lot of volume coming out those key levels, to me, I have to look at this as a reversal day. So I'm looking for the market to come back to this level, and I'm looking to take a short. So right here, it came back to this level right here. We have nice rejections, and I'm looking to get in. Okay. Now, let me show you guys some more examples. Okay, so right here, guys, what do we have? We have a ranging market, right? Now, this is a nice tight ranging market. So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the market, and let's say that we start to basically look at the market around this time right here. Me personally, I'm going to see how it's going to react at this level, because overall it's ranging day. Okay. Now notice how it broke past this. Now this is telling me that today is going to be a breakout day. Okay. Remember, I have 4 states: trending state, reversal state, breakout state, and a ranging state. Okay. So right here, this is a breakout state. So what I'm looking for, guys, since we broke out of this, I want a pullback. Okay. But notice how it didn't really pull back. It is what it is. I want that pullback. Yes, sometimes you can take these breakouts, but I'm more a pullback trader. So, it didn't pull back. Came here. I want probably a pullback to here. Never pulled back. So right here, we have a strong breakout. It's not really pulling back to key levels that I like. And guess what? I'm going to skip that day and wait for tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with waiting for tomorrow or skipping or not trading for the day. Okay, don't think that you have to trade every single day. Now let me show you guys another example. So right here, guys, okay, this is a trade I took yesterday, actually day before yesterday. Pretty much the market was downtrending, right? So the way I'm looking at it is, all right, we might have trouble around here, and it was having trouble around here, right? So I took a short right here. Okay, overall, guess what? The market was what? Trending down. We are at a key level right here, and basically we had a nice rejection entry. Now I did notice that we had support to the left, and you know, that was kind of my fault, but at the same time I thought we was breaking out, right? I thought we was breaking out, so I didn't mind taking this trade, but it was a loss, right? Again, you're not going to win 100% of the time. Now what do I notice? Okay, I noticed that we are in this choppy range right here. It broke out of that range, okay, and it pulled back to a key level right here. Okay, so we have this key level right here, nice bullish bar right here, guys, right? And I went long. So we have a nice bullish bar right here, pulling back to this key level. I went long because I knew that the market is changing states, because now since we had that fell move to the downside, it's breaking that range. So we are in the breakout state now. It's pulling back to support. It's showing me a nice bullish bar. Now I'm looking for that continuation to the upside. So again, you have to understand that the market is always changing different states, and you have to change with it. Now, you don't have to change with it. Let's say, for example, you took the short and that's a loser. You could be done for the day. But if you want to continue to trade, you have to realize, all right, it's changing states. Let me go along with the state, right? So notice how it came back. I give you another entry, okay, right here, and nice bullish bar. You could have took this long right here to the upside, right, and get some profit. So this is what I'm doing every single day. Let me show you guys one more example so you can really get this. So let's go. All right, so here's another example. What do we have? A trending day, right? Environment, it's a trending environment, okay? Now we got to head and look for levels. We have a nice demand level right here. I was definitely in this trade right here, okay? It pulled back to that key level, which is demand. It showed me a nice bullish bar right here, entry, and then exit the high, okay? So that's what I'm doing every single day. I'm looking for the environment. I'm looking for my levels. I'm looking to enter, and I'm looking to exit. Guys, you have to understand that the trend is your friend, but not all the time. It's going to change states. The market's going to change different states. You have to notice in real time. So this is what you have to do as a trader. Get used to this in real time so you can actually become an elite trader. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoy this.
Okay, so let's check in on our trade and see how it's looking. Now, again, we're just going to take some idea from the video and apply it. That's it. And what happened here is the price bounced off that prior low, right? Didn't get there, got pretty close within a few ticks. Okay. And then reversed up, right? So we were looking to buy down here if this candle looked bullish, and that's exactly what happened. Okay. So if we bought here, that would have been a, 2.75 point move, right? So that's great. But what happened is we put our order down here, right? So we didn't get filled on this trade. Now, what do you do if you see a pattern? It's the pattern you want to trade. The market reacts the way you want, but then you don't get filled. That's what happened here. Well, don't worry about it. The biggest temptation is overtrading. Overtrading. So what I'm doing now is just waiting for the market to either tag me in or not. Okay. And what I can see is that we continue to be in this same market structure. So again, we're forming another high here, a lower high, right? So the double top was here and here, right? Double top was here and here. Now the double top moved here and here. That's two double tops. That double top here, double top here, making either a triple top or a wedge. It's just called, right? And we have the same thing down here, right? Double top with here and here, and then another one here, right? So the market now is in something called a triangle. And when the market's in a triangle, that's a trading range. That's why we have this marked yellow. So you can identify a trading range two different ways. The first way is if it's just going sideways and reversing a lot, right? But the other way is to use these trend lines. And if you can draw a bull trend line showing higher lows and a bear trend line showing lower highs, if you can draw both at the same area on the chart, then you're most likely in a trading range. And that means that the trend is not your friend, and you should look for reversals and go against where the direction is headed, right? In other words, here looks like we're breaking out to the upside, right? But the price went down and did the opposite, right? So that's what happens in a trading range. What you get are lots of reversals. So trading reversals in a trading range is effective, right? And again, we'll either get tagged in and our limit order will get hit or we won't. But either way, we're not going to worry about it, right? And that's really the key. You know, what I like to show you guys are winning trades. Of course, everyone wants to see those. But what's even more important is being patient and disciplined. Now, what other YouTuber is going to tell you that, right? But that's the reality, is that your discipline and your patience is really where your success in trading is going to come down to. So we missed out on this trade, unfortunately, and that's fine. Okay. So what would be an alternative? Well, if the market breaks out to the upside here, then a long would be possible. That's one possible scenario, right? But if the market stays in this type of behavior, right? If the market fails to break above this high with strong follow through, or this high with strong follow through, then we would want to continue to look for reversals, right? So then that would change us from wanting to long to getting short. But we would need to wait longer for this candle to close to kind of see what happens. Okay. So today it's an example of wanting to take a trade, not getting the entry you want, then just letting it go. Now, if there was something that I could point to that would have the potential to make you more money in trading, it would be your potential to see a trade, to not get what you want, and then to let that go. The people that lose money the most in trading are the ones that have trouble letting go. And I know because that's a challenge that I've worked through a ton. If you have questions, ask them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And if you're curious about my strategy and want to get live trading breakdowns, join my Patreon at patreon.com/tradesbybren or become a premium subscriber on this channel. And I post regular live trading updates and you can check those out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.